Hi, good evening. Welcome back to Cooking More with Less. I am kind of like your chef host. My name is Selena Cordova, and tonight we're going to be making wild mahi-mahi. I'm going to stew it through with some green peppers and some onions and some garlic and show you a really versatile way to make a really simple white firm flesh fish. Now, let me go on my garbage real quick. I thought about it. I tried to prepare a little bit more tonight, so we weren't, you can come in on the camera, so we weren't doing so much preparation. Wanted to show the brand that I use. I got this at Walmart. It's a mahi-mahi fillet. The thing that I look for when I get fish is that it's wild caught and not farm raised. The farm raised fish has much more high levels of mercury than the wild. And you can use like tilapia. Tilapia is the other white firm flesh fish that does not have any mercury residue or mercury findings. These things always change, but I'm just trying to keep it real concentrated and letting you know what my favorite fishes are. And I really enjoy mahi-mahi, salmon. I do like scallops. We'll get into all that other stuff later. But tonight, this is dedicated to a good friend of mine named Anissa. She's 12 years old, holds her whole family down, and I always think of ways that I can really show her other ways to flip stuff. She's so creative. And this show, what I'm doing, is really dedicated to young ladies like that, that are cooking in a confined space. Actually, she has a better kitchen than me now, but the purpose is, and the point is that I just want to help and show people how to freak certain healthy meals without any dairy, without any excess fat. So we're going to get into our mahi-mahi. All you need is olive oil, salt, pepper, some green peppers. I cut them up small and thin, as well as slicing the onion. I pounded out about 5 cloves of garlic because I do enjoy garlic in it. So we're going to start with the olive oil. I just seasoned it with a little bit of sea salt. I'm doing cayenne, garlic, paprika, and ground pepper. Just a simple rub, and I'm going to show you basically how I stew really simple vegetables and make a fish a lot more flavorful. Thinking of this as well, I'm thinking about a good spot in New York called Jollof. Oh my gosh. Shout outs to Pops. Jollof, the best fish dishes. If you do enjoy fish, they have Senegalese food, and amazing. When I tell you amazing, inspirational, really, I was like, oh no, yasajun, I'm going to try to recreate this. Now this is no yasajun, but what this is just a really good flip on, keeping it versatile, keeping it upbeat. So as you can see, I'm real all over the place just to show you that you don't have to be, so specific with your seasonings. You can just go with the flow and shake it all in there. So I'm just doing on both sides a little bit of dash, salt, pepper, some paprika, and some garlic powder. I do have some thyme that I got today because I do throw that in there as everything is stewing down. So just to consolidate on thyme, I'm starting with my pot over here, my pan, and I'm going to throw in a nice amount of olive oil to cover the base of the pan. A nice amount, because we're not using any canola, no butter, no anything like that. Now you can, like I said again, you can use tilapia, you can use, I'm trying to think of like a flounder. I'm just kind of specific with my fish. I do like 3 types right now. Mahi-mahi, salmon, some sardines, scallops. I love cooking a lobster when I can afford it. And, I try to stay away from shrimp. So as that's warming, I don't keep this on for long. It's on high. I'm throwing in my onions, my green peppers, and my garlic. And I'm going to let that come to a high fry. Again, if you have an electric stove, it's on high for me right now. This should not be in this corner. But Amor sticks it in that corner after we sweep because he's so into helping. So as I'm cooking, I try to just make sure little things like that aren't around because I don't have a big space. But again, this show is really dedicated and inspired. The concept of it was me feeling like I needed more. I needed to have a bigger space, or I needed to have, a nicer environment to make what I do every day. And I've really been just so wishing that I could visit people's homes and be, in their lives more. But having a child is a full-time job, so this is really for me to try to be in your kitchen as much as I can. and to inspire people, young mothers, women that might not know how to make fish, that might not know simple ways to freak it really well. Just to inspire those individuals to cook a little different and to expand their horizons on vegetables and how they make stuff. So, you know, I know there's master chefs out there, and I am not trying to be that, but what I do know is that I cook with love and flavor. And because we actually experienced, you know, someone real dear to us in the community passed away recently, I wanted to think of something comforting and something that makes me feel good. And for some reason, stews, and when I stew things through, it almost creates like a velvety effect on my food, and I feel warmer. I feel happier. And I think of foods that my grandmother and my mother made that were also very warming and good for you. Again, all I'm doing is frying up green pepper, some yellow onion, and about 5 things of garlic. Now I'm doing it first to infuse the olive oil with the flavors of everything that's in here. I think it's really important to do that. Like little things like that do make a difference. So I'm not going to overcook them too much. I just bring them to a nice sizzle. And I'm going to scoop them out and put them on the side. I'm not too particular about, oh, it's just so much oil. Olive oil for me is like, okay. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and coat it a little bit more. And again, when you stew it down and make the gravy that I'm going to show you, which is so easy, you're going to be like, I see why she used that much olive oil. So I'm just putting my 3 pieces of fish in here in a nice heated pan. Put that on 8. I do want it to fry on high, and then I'm going to cover it. So again, because I only eat fish and I don't do chicken and turkey, I try to think of ways to really make it funky. When you eat salmon twice a week, 3 times a week, it can get a little boring. Or when you eat fish all the time, you're like, you know, I want it to taste a little different and be a little different. So this is just a really easy way to make a gravy and to infuse your food with different flavors. So my kettle is on in the back, and what I'm going to make with this tonight is some couscous, some real simple couscous. All I have to do is bring that to a boil and throw my couscous in it. So as you can see, it's not even been on here for 3 minutes. And already we have a nice color on the fish. A really, really nice color. And I brought the heat down to 5. So I'm going to let that simmer for a couple more seconds. I kind of like for the seasonings, the way you see it, it's browning a little bit at the bottom. I like the way that looks. I was going to add more olive oil, but I'm not. Because what I'm going to end up doing is throwing the onions, the green pepper, and the garlic on top of this, and then throwing a little bit of gravy on that. I'm just showing, Anita, this is really thinking about you. Showing how easy you can add simple ingredients. You can use red peppers, yellow. Sometimes I make a multitude of peppers on top. But they didn't look that great this week. At the store that I went to, they weren't like amazing, and I always have good green peppers. So we're using what we have. Again, this is about using what you have and making the best out of it, not wishing that something else was in your fridge. Sometimes it's not, and when it's not, you got to work with what you have. I'm just gonna pop this open and throw a couple of stalks of raw thyme on top. I feel that it makes a really nice aromatic flavor for your fish. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I just rinsed off 3 stalks. Some people do pull off all the stuff, but because the fish is so big and bold and present, I'm just going to use it like that. Now this is a funny trick. I've got to say a funny trick because I use, hold on, not that one. I have another one. Here it goes. I use ketchup. Now I'm showing you ketchup because so many girls and so many people are like, how do you make this gravy? It's delicious. Really simple. Ketchup. I don't use a lot, but I do use a little. You can use a browning sauce as well. I do have a really nice browning sauce that I use. But I get the, this one isn't even organic. This just doesn't have the high fructose corn syrup. As long as I look in the back and I make sure that it doesn't have anything extra, like any molasses or maltodextrin or corn syrup, I'm good money. So I just want you to see how much ketchup I put in this. Literally 3 teaspoons of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of ketchup. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. It looks really ghetto, but it ends up coming out really good. And so many people are like, what? Because you seasoned everything already. The garlic is going to infuse with this little tomato paste that's just like a tomato paste. I just watered it down, and I'm going to go ahead and just throw it right in there. Almost like a cornucopia of goodness. All of that, as you can see, was made in literally like 15 minutes. As Sears sometimes goes, you're done? You finished? And I'm like, yeah. If you defrost the fish, of course you're done. So I did that as well, along with the little concoction of ketchup and water. So all of that is to say that it's stewing, everything is stinging, and watch this. Glass bowl, really simple, Anissa. You also know this brand. It's Near East. I don't use the packet flavoring that comes with it, even though, let me just make sure it's not 1/3. Yep, 1 1/4. So you can get regular loose couscous, like the kinds that come in Whole Foods in the major bulk. And I'm using couscous because, again, that's what I would get at Jollof. I love their couscous there. So I'm just pouring that on top of my couscous. Because I have so much olive oil in my food, I don't need to put any in here. But you can put a dab of olive oil just to make sure it has some flavor, some goodness in it. Taking out a regular clean plate, dropping it over that. 5 minutes sit. Fish is stewing. If you want, you can come and take a look at it real quick. Bam. Done. Now, what's great is that you have all this rich flavor underneath that's been caramelizing and being infused with the fish. And what tastes great is when you put it over the couscous, you have a nice gravy to topple it with. And that gravy, again, was made with olive oil, onions, garlic, thyme, ketchup. So we're basically done. I just wanted to show how the couscous came out. See? I just covered it. I didn't have it on the stove or anything. Nice and fluffy. Buddha bada bim. Done. Then you can, of course, topple it with all that good garlicky, oniony wonderfulness. Settle it in. Have a nice gravy, a nice white firm flesh fish. My cat approves, my husband approves, I approve. Anissa, families around the world, I hope this can inspire a couple of us to just know that we can cook food at home for our families. And it can be good and healthy and taste well and all of that goodness and in between. Cooking more with less. I love you, family. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for encouraging me to continue. I can be very private and I feel like this is a way that I don't have to be. I'm like, shit, I went to school for theater. I might as well put it to use. Enjoy it, you guys. Enjoy.